5, 7 o'clock. Ready? Call to order the November 13, 2019 regular Morton Borough Council meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Can we have a roll call, please?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mrs. Wood.
Hey, Mary Missamino.
Here.
Michelle Miller.
Here.
Michelle Roberts. Natalie Young.
Here.
Robert McGrath.
Here.
John Miller.
Here.
Charlie Lillycrop.
Here.
Mayor App.
Present.
Also present, the Solicitor E. Wall, Junior Councilman Josh Tarantino.
Here.
And that's it.
All right, thank you. We'll start with general council comments. Tonight, we'll start this in with Mayor App. Any general comments at this time?
Not at this time, but thank you.
Mr. Miller?
No.
Mrs. Young?
I have none. I do have one, but I forgot to take something.
Mr. McGrath, anything at this time?
Well, I was listening to the hearings today, and I was heard somebody referred to as America's mayor. What these people don't understand is we already have America's mayor. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Lillycrop, any general comments at this time?
General comment, no general comment.
It's the two Michelles come walking up here.
Good evening.
Yesterday I attended the monthly Stormwater Collaborative meeting, and this collective that we belong to was awarded this beautiful award in October. We're sort of passing it around to each borough that's involved. So we have it this month. It was awarded in Allentown at the the 7th annual meeting of the Delaware River Association. But it was for all the good works that the collaboratives have been doing in Delaware County, cleaning up pollutants and doing such things as putting in the rain gardens and bioswales and all. So just wanted to share it. I'll just leave it up here, I guess, for the evening. So there's a lot of people that put in a great deal of time with this group. I guess it's 8 municipalities that are in together on this, but they're very pleased to be recognized by winning that award.
Certainly is fancy.
And the giant rainbow.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Mrs. Roberts, any general comments at this time?
None at this time.
Okay. That will go on to public comment on agenda items. If anyone would like to comment on items that are on the agenda, you can approach the podium now. If you would like to bring other business before council, we'll take that up during the open discussion period later in the meeting. And seeing no one at this time, we'll move on to number 5, approval of the monthly meeting minutes. Everybody should be a receipt of a copy of the monthly meeting minutes. And are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? And if there are none, is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any noes? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Next, number 6, approval of the monthly bills. Everybody should be in receipt of a copy of the monthly bill list. Are there any questions at this time on the monthly bill list? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the monthly bill list?
Can I hold a minute just so
Sure.
I can't according to these. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the monthly bill list?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Semina?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lillycrop?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. We'll go on to committee reports, starting with Public Facilities and Infrastructure, and Mrs. Miller, please.
Okay. This month, or the month of October, the borough issued 15 building permits, 7 UNO certificates, and 5 contractors' licenses. And I think also that this coming month is when a lot more of the inspections are done for the rental properties. So we'll have that for, I guess, a January meeting. And the only other item on my agenda is that we did take in more bids, our second round of bids for the grant that we got for the updating of the gym and the bathrooms. But I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Catania to explain how that went.
The numbers were still not quite as high as last time, but they were still high. So the contract was split into 4 prime contractors as required by state law. So we have a general construction contractor, plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and the base bids for those were $89,000, $78,000, $104,800, and $32,442. I know that just reading them quickly. But ended with a contract, a project total of $304,242, which is above the funding that we have from the county. What we did is we contacted the county to see, if they possibly would have additional funding to get this project completed. And with the additional funding would require county council approval. And with the transition that is going to occur at the county courthouse, we don't expect any response to that until at least February. So when we had bid this last time, I had wanted to bid this job kind of with bids that would be for the gymnasium HVAC system as part 1 and the bathroom renovations as part 2. So if in fact we did have a funding shortage, Borough Council could then decide what part of the project they wanted to proceed with. Unfortunately, when our office put together the bids, that was lost in the translation. It didn't happen. So what I'm going to recommend is since we have this time lapse, we won't get an answer from the county anyway, that we authorize a re-advertisement of this project. And that re-advertisement will be at our office's cost. It won't cost the borough anything. And we'll have that split based between the gymnasium and the bathrooms. And that way, when council reorganizes in the new year, we'll have some good numbers, be able to talk intelligently with them as to what our options may be. So that's my recommendation.
So the low bid was the 300, low total bid was the 304,000 and some?
Yes.
Yes, when you add all the primes up, yes.
What was the range, what was the high bid?
For general, I don't know if I added those up, but just give you an idea. For general construction, the low bid was $89,000. The high bid was $207,000. So right there, that's a $100 and some $1,000 difference.
Yeah, there was like 7 bidders for these different things, and they ranged pretty dramatically.
Yeah, that was the other part of the problem. They were kind of all over the place. If they were in one, grouping, we would say that's the value of the job, but they were kind of up and down all over.
And the grant amount is what?
I want to say it's
127.5 is what
Really?
we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to put in like 12.5, but it's
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
thought
so
it was
140 was the total project. But what it allows us to do, like Mr. Catania said, if they're split out like that, even if we don't get, we won't say that, but even if we don't get any additional money from the county, we'll still know we have that 127.5, and we can then go through and figure out what we can use that money for specifically, and at least eliminate things if we have to, and at least move forward with a project,
Yeah.
even if we don't get anything additional from the county. So,
I mean, the odd part about this, and kind of historically, we had looked at the gymnasium HVAC, I want to say 5, 6, 7 years ago, And that number that we got from the grant was the bid at that time. And it's kind of strange to me that the price has escalated so much in that short period of time.
Yeah. All right, well,
Anybody else have any questions about that matter?
I would concur that we should bid it piecemeal and see how that comes out, and then make decisions from there on what can and can't be done.
Is it on hold then, as far as the one getting additional funding, or is that closed, or are we gonna wait till
Well,
February?
we have to wait.
I know, but is that what we're doing?
Well, that's-
If you're going ahead with what you have, and if we get something additional, that's just a plus.
Well, we want to rebid it and have the bids set specifically that it's either the bathrooms or the air conditioning they're bidding on. Because right now, the way it's laid out, it doesn't specifically say which of the two projects. And there will be,
I thought there were other small parts of it also. Is it just the bathrooms in the,
There may have been a water fountain in there. It was really a couple few minor items.
well, we didn't have the kitchen upgrades in there.
No, the kitchen upgrades, they were deemed ineligible by the county.
No, right, okay.
and I don't think there's anything else I wanted to say, is last week we kept remembering at the last, we were all so tired of remembering later there's something else we wanted to bring up.
How much was the grant that you said we're waiting for? How much?
We're going to rebid it.
Yeah, but the grant
Grant
was,
amount.
what did we say, 127
$127,500, that's what we're getting from the county.
plus, what's our percentage?
12.5 was our, right, so it was 140,000 was the
No.
total project cost, but our match was 12,500. So the grant money from the county is 127,500.
And we matched 12,000?
Yes.
The engineer's office at this time would be looking for authorization in the form of a motion or a vote to re-advertise as discussed. I think there was a consensus, but they'd be looking for formal authorization on that.
Okay, well, I'll make that motion, make a motion that we have Catania Engineering rebid at their cost for the grant for the upgrade of the HVAC for the gymnasium and the upgrade of the bathrooms as soon as they possibly can do that.
As separate projects.
Yes, as separate projects.
Second.
All right, there's a motion been made and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any noes? All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Mrs. Miller?
And then on Monday, Mr. McGrath and I planted 2 trees outside, 2 little red buds. Hopefully they will make it through this cold spell here. They're out on the sycamore side. And we had also planted 2 dogwoods over at Jacobs Park, but we need to go over there and put some fencing around them because the deer have been having their way with those trees and they have eaten all the buds off of them. So I had to look into what's either available in the garage or what's in my garage to go put some fencing around those little trees over at Jacobs. But hopefully they'll make it, and if not, maybe we can get some more. They were free from the stormwater people. And I think that's all that I have.
All right, thank you. Finance Administration, Mr. Lillycraft, please.
President, data collecting report for October 2019. Excuse me. Beginning of the month, we had 110,438 unpaid, if you will. Paid for the month was total, after everything was compiled, $1,616.07. For the sewer fees, budget was 683,744, we collected year-to-date 470,315, and that's 69% of the budget. Prior year's budget 31,000, collected 38,090 in round numbers, that's 123% of the amount budgeted. And delinquents of 33,000, collected year-to-date 53,959, for total budget percentage of 163.3. The rubbish budget 168,548, collected 159, year-to-date $600.41, which is 95% of the budget. Trash collections, prior year's budget 7,500, collected 7,532.90, which is 100.4%, and trash collections delinquent budgeted 12,400, collected year-to-date 21,455.83, for percentage budget 173%. Real estate taxes, Delco Tax Claim Bureau budgeted 66,000, collected 63,658.54, for a 96.6% of the budget. That's all I have on those figures there. Let's see. A motion, I'm going to make a motion to approve solicitation for the 2020 tax anticipation rules. That's we're asking for requests for proposals. I make that motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a question. Mr. Poole, what is the amount that we're going to seek?
This year, it'll still be between 150, which is our normal, to probably 175. I'm going to wait till I process the accounts payable tomorrow, just to kind of figure it all out for as many months as I can get, and then divide that by really 2 or 3 months and come up, but it's still within that range. So I think it's going to be between 150 and 175,000.
All right, so should we amend the motion to not to exceed 175,000?
You can, yeah.
Mr. Lillicrap, do you want to amend your motion to have that solicitation not to exceed $175,000?
I'll amend my motion to approve solicitations for 2020 tax anticipation of not to exceed $175,000.
Okay, is there any? All right. The amended motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? All right, hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Sonino?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lillicrap?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Lillicrap, the floor is yours.
Motion to approve the DCED Police Department Management Study Articles of Agreement. I don't have any explanation here.
This is a contract that was sent over by DCED. You've already approved the police department entering into this program. It's where they do a peer-to-peer management study of the police department to look for that they were okay with the insurance provision.
Right, and I've not heard back, so if you want to make it contingent upon the fact that we get a positive, response from the insurance company.
Yeah, so we'd be looking for a motion to approve the agreement with the contingency that the insurance carrier is okay with the language on indemnifying the.
This is the county, or all members have it, says peer-to-peer technical assistance articles agreement. Is that what they're looking at?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you'll have a motion to approve that, if you have read it, if not, you can take a look at it. If you have no problem with it, I'd make a motion to approve.
You're the only one with a copy, I think.
Oh, there we go.
It's in your packet.
Yeah.
I don't see mine. I'm sorry to say.
Mr. Lillicrap, you're making that motion contingent on the approval of the insurance requirement by our carrier? Is that correct?
Yes.
Insurance authority for what?
Insurance carrier. We run it past our insurance carrier.
We do.
Yes.
We have not gotten an
back.
answer yet, so we want to make it contingent upon a favorable answer from the insurance carrier.
What didn't we run past in the study, or what? What are we doing?
No, Section E requires indemnity of the consultant. So we were just making sure that that's covered under our policy.
Subject to the the satisfactory completion of item E on the articles of agreement?
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Mrs. Young, are you seconding that
Yes.
amended motion?
Yes.
Okay, are there any questions on the amended motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Savino?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Mr. Lillycrop?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, thank you. Mr. Lillycrop?
There'll be a budget meeting November the 20th at 7 PM at Park and Recreation.
Actually, and then it's community development, sanitation, and law and ordinance. So it's all of our small committees.
Oh, okay.
A little bit longer.
Oh, yeah, cable.
That's what I have in parentheses in Park and
Yeah,
Recreation.
that only says that on here.
When are we doing Parks and Recreation?
That's what it is.
Same night.
Same
Ah,
night. So it's just a smaller committee. But that's, and the other one's cable. So there's actually 5 of them.
All right.
All right, Mr. Poole filled that in, so that's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, and then when are we, do we have a tentative date for considering a preliminary budget?
Yeah, for right now, I'm hoping that it would be at the agenda meeting for December. Because I'll get all the figures then next Wednesday. I'll start to work on it, so I'll have something out the end, I think right, would be the last week in November. So, is that right? It is, yes. So the 20th would be next week, so it would be sometime probably the beginning of the last week in November, with hopefully the preliminary being the 4th of December.
So you'll have to schedule an extra meeting.
Correct, just because of constraints with advertising.
I blended into your schedule, at least from my end as chairman. What openings we have here to request a difference or a change in say, the police budget?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was going to be my next
What opening do we have, say, no, I don't agree with it, I think we should change it?
Well, that's what it would be. The preliminary would come out the beginning of the last week in November, so you get to see the figures. If you have any questions, obviously get back to me. And then at that point, you know, we can distribute whatever information we change. But the hope would be to still have something available for council to consider on the 4th of December.
And it has to stay unchanged for 10 days.
After that, right?
After it's
Correct.
advertised. And after that, you can make any changes you need up until the time it's adopted.
Adopted, right.
Well, I would really like, if possible, to get a sense of the cost of the proposed changes in the police budget
Oh, well, the chief has that.
sooner than that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But to be sent out to all council, because we're going to need, you know, we're really going to need to wrap our heads around that before.
Right.
So even if we could get, you know, that basic information before next week's meeting.
Oh, yeah,
in
and
case
that's,
there's any
the
preliminary
chief has that. Obviously, it wouldn't be
Yeah.
built into the total budget, but he would have those figures, correct? Right.
So, Mr. Lillycrop, would you be okay with that approach, that we get that before next
I'd be
week's meeting?
okay
In case there's-
at next week's budget meeting, can we just discuss anything pertaining to the police budget? Even though it's not on the agenda.
I would suggest we consider that, because, you know, I don't think we want to get to the meeting where we expect to adopt the preliminary budget, and if there are concerns raised, you know, one way or the other, you know, only have them raised when we're at a meeting we're expecting to take a vote. I think
Okay, so
it's best to get them on the table as soon as possible.
I can bring that up and nobody's going to be offended or won't throw us out of whack.
We respect your opinion.
Okay,
always.
thank you very much.
Mr. President, I will be present at that meeting for the Parks and Recreation, and also willing to answer questions
Okay.
about the police department budget.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Lillycrop, did you have
That's all I
anything
have,
else?
Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Public safety, Mr. Miller, please.
Good evening. Our fire chief and chief of police are absent for this, but I do have the report. Fire report for month of October, there was 34 incidences. The company was in service for 9 hours and 51 minutes. There was 34 hours of personnel hours. You had 124 personnel response to the incidences. We had 15 assists to SWAT, 2 motor vehicle accidents with injuries, 6 assists to Springfield Fire Department. You had 5 duty engine assignments attended by 20 members for a total of 20 hours for 100 man hours. The company had 5 fire prevention details attended by 37 members for a total time of service, 122 hours. And total personnel hours of 14 hours and 30 minutes. That's a highlight of the fire department, respectfully, Don Holstein. The police report, I will highlight the high incidences. There was 12 motor vehicle accidents, 19 suspicious auto incidences, 18 medical emergencies, 22 traffic enforcement warnings, 13 assist other agencies, and 38 traffic citations. All told, there was 260 violations and citations for the month of October. The police, we had a conference call with at DCED, attended by the police chief, mayor, Mayor App, myself, Mr. Bob Poole, and Bill Rusting. And it was a very enlightening conference call that I think will do the borough justice. And I think they are very thorough in what they want to accomplish. And I think in the long haul, it will show our deficiencies, our strengths, and our weaknesses. So I'm looking forward to it. All told, I think they would say about 6 months out. So it's a very intensive study and no cost to us. So I think it's a very good situation that we find ourselves in, and I'm looking forward to it.
And the consultant, just to let everyone know, is John Ellers, who was the police chief at Brookhaven for a good number of years. So he's very familiar with everything, so.
It's a very comprehensive study he'll be doing. So we're very happy to call this in for our own use, and so we'll benefit what we do in the future.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Public health, sanitation, and recycling. Mrs. Roberts, please.
Good evening. I'd like to make my report first concerning trash and the recycle pickups. As far as the trash with the Delaware County Solid Waste, there were 8 pickups and the tonnage was 7282, and it was from October 1st to October 31st of 2019. The recycling, and there were 4 pickups, also from October the 7th to October the 28th. And the 4 pickups, the tonnage was 16.63. Also, just like to advise the residents that there's the yard waste pickup, and that'll be a curbside on November the 23rd, which is a Saturday. And we just ask that you put your yard waste in cans, either in bundles and paper bags. We just ask that you do not use plastic bags. So just be mindful that is a Saturday, November the 23rd.
Questions. Well, the question is, what time does the yard waste need to be out at the curb by? Do we know?
Same time, so it would be by 7 o'clock.
7 a.m.
Because they can start at 7, so you want it out by 7 o'clock.
All right. And do we have that advertised?
It's already on the website and next door Morton.
Yes.
And Mr. McGrath, hopefully by the end of this meeting, will have
Flyers.
some flyers for everybody to post up
Yeah, in
on
different
the
places.
lamp post closest to their property.
I'm also sending the posters to everybody on the council and the office, so everybody can print them out as they see fit.
And hopefully with our intrepid reporter here, we may find it in the newspaper as well. My other comment is, actually a couple comments, but on the electronics recycling, there's going to be a fee.
Yes, there will be.
For everything or just for the CRT and flat screen TVs?
We don't know. That's what it is. We've just been approached. In fact, Rutledge was approached first. We were approached right after the same day by B&L, just letting us know that they're setting this up and that, it's probably easier to combine, which we said we would love to do that. So, but we don't know specifics yet. But we have reached back to Rutledge, and we're both on board for doing it, and we'll get together with B&L and work out the details. So,
and I would suggest we get clarification as to how the materials will be disposed of, so we're aware of that before we commit to anything.
Okay.
The only other item I was going to bring up is we've mentioned before that if there are any gas smells or anything like that, because we've had some local issues and we still need folks to call on that, so we keep that on the agenda of PICO to address any of those issues locally, but also there was this issue, I guess in the southern part of the county. I don't know that we got any complaints here, but I was in Chester, I smelled it, and I read in the paper that some people thought it was like a fuel oil smell, but to my somewhat trained nose, it smelled more like natural gas to me. So, I just want to remind everybody, if they're, if they smell anything that smells unhealthy or out of the ordinary, to call 911 and report it, so we're aware in the county.
and just let you know, it's our understanding that was the second time for that smell.
Yeah.
Because we weren't even notified originally the first time. We found out after the fact. I mean, again, it didn't affect us here, but I think the first time there was 23 communities that were reporting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like 2-3 weeks ago.
I smelled it in Swarthmore, which is
Yeah.
funny that it didn't come here.
Mhm.
Because
No,
it
we
basically
didn't get
stopped
anybody.
when I came out of
Yeah, I
Swarthmore.
mean, no one at least contacted us if they did smell it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And speaking of gas leaks, did we hear anything else from, PICO was around last week marking up Morton Avenue. Have we heard anything else about when they're going to be in?
Nothing more, yes. And just to let you know, we did actually have a report. The chief gave me a report this weekend. I think it was on Saturday morning. There was a report to PICO of a gas smell again out on Providence Road, which PICO did report out again, so.
Electronic recycling, that gonna be curbside?
No.
No.
And the yard waste is now up on Facebook, pickup day as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that was all on public health, sanitation, recycling, correct?
Yes.
Okay, law and ordinance, Mrs. Young, please.
Good evening. So tonight, I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 763, which is the amending chapter 15, part 4 of the code to prohibit parking except for residents in certain areas, and this is of Bridge Street, I believe.
This is Bridge Street on the north side between Stony Creek and Taylor Avenue. It's only between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. Monday through Friday.
Yes. So with those particular details in addition as part of my motion.
All right. Motion's been made and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion?
I have a question. I think it's deficient in that they're already parking above Stony Creek, so my vote is going to be no on that ordinance.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Semino?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Lillicrap?
No.
All right, 6-1, motion carries. Thank you.
I
Mrs. Young?
have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Community and economic development, Mr. McGrath.
The budget meeting for community and economic development and cable channel has already been mentioned here. I have nothing else.
And back here. Do we know if the 4th of July committee is aware of that being on next week's agenda, and have we received anything from them?
Yes, we have received something. My guy received a PowerPoint and responded. Yeah, I'll let them know.
Okay, thank you. All right, Parks and Recreation, Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recreation, the first thing I want to talk about is the 4th annual Free Turkey Trot. We Run Morton event. It will take place Thanksgiving morning at 7:30 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day, which is the last Thursday, the 28th, early late this year. November 20th, as we mentioned earlier, we'll be here at the Borough Hall for the budget meeting for Parks and Recreation. That meeting starting at 7 p.m. And our next meeting for the Parks and Recreation will be December 2nd at 7 p.m. here at Borough Hall. And that's all I have to do.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Question for you too.
I have a
Mr. Mayor.
question.
Yes.
I spoke up first, excuse me. I just wanted to compliment the mayor on the turkey signs.
Oh, thank you.
Really, really
very
nice.
much.
Really special.
Thanks, Bob.
And
Go ahead.
okay, Mr. Mayor, in reference to your annual turkey trot, where do you store that?
Right here at Borough Hall.
Okay,
And you can elect to walk or run.
okay.
Last year, I think we had 35 participants looking to get in the 40s this year. Some people walk, some people run.
Just in the morning.
All that
Just here.
information is on our social media.
Yes, I want to thank Michelle Miller for putting that on the neighbor's website.
It's also on Facebook.
And on Facebook. Thank you, Natalie.
Is it the same course as the Morton Borough 5K?
Absolutely. Yes. But the walkers only have to walk 2 miles, or less if they wish. Runners, if you want to, you can run the full 5K. But there's no registration or anything like that, so it's up to the runners how far they want to run. And we just come back and enjoy that we got together as a community and talk about the holiday and make turkey.
I saw a sign at Church Road Park in Springfield. Was that for ours, or are they having one also?
They're probably having their own.
All right, are there any planning or zoning applications?
No, this month. Next month will be 24 Kettering.
Okay. Any old business from members of council?
I just noteworthy that church in the business district is under contract. It's on the market 26 days,
It is under contract.
under contract.
Any new business from members of council?
Yes, if I could just make an announcement. I received an email today, and probably we all did, about the reorganization meeting, which will take place the first Monday in January. And there is some paperwork that we all have to make sure that we filled out so that we are eligible to vote at that meeting. Residency forms and things need to be looked at. Marty, is there anything else that we should know about the forms that we need to fill out?
I don't know if I can think of it. If anything comes up, I'll email it.
Okay, so the reorganization meeting will be the first Monday, January 6th, 2020.
And that's only for the newly elected. That's my right.
And that's going to be January the 6th, 2020.
And while we're announcing that, our new school board member, Jacqueline Guy, will be sworn in. Mrs. Miller, what is the date for that?
I think it's first Wednesday in December. That's what she said.
It's December 5th.
December 5th.
Well, whatever,
Okay,
the 5th.
But that's a
not
Thursday.
Wednesday. That's Thursday, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was the 5th was what was in my head, but I was thinking it was a Wednesday.
I have one other announcement to make. I received received this. There's going to be a Veterans Expo this Saturday at the Marple Library, and Representative O'Mara will be there, Senator Tim Kearney will be there, and Congresswoman Mary Gay Scanlon will also be there. There'll be a lot of vendors there, and this is a Veteran Expo, so get the word out if you want to go out and have chats with representatives, and also see what the vendors have out there. So that is Saturday, November 16th, this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Veterans Expo at the Marple Library.
Thank you. Yeah, just to underscore, so the swearing in, what time was it, Mr. Lee? Do you have the time for?
Yes.
7:30?
Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Pennsylvania. The swearing in for not just Mrs. Guy, but all the school board members will be Thursday, December 5th, and it'll be at 7 p.m. will be the time for inauguration.
Okay. And that's,
It's the irregular time for the school board meeting, and there'll also be the reorganization meeting
right.
as well that day.
So, of course, as all meetings are, open to the public, and I hopefully will be able to attend. Hopefully, we'll have a good chunk for members of council and any residents that would like to come represent Morton as we hopefully are building a stronger partnership with the school district going forward. All right, if there's no other new business, we'll go to open discussion.
Mr. President, new business.
Mr. Lillycrap, yes.
I wanted to ask council, particularly Mr. McGrath, Mr. Hafner, his business, FEA Industries, has a video presentation of what is fascinating. I wonder if the council consider him emailing that video presentation, and Mr. McGrath has his expertise presenting that, so that we could get an idea of just what this business does, and it's located in the borough of Morton.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mr. Hefner, is that something you would be interested in having broadcast? Or?
Well, I'd be happy to give it to you. I mean, we had Fox Business News come in and do a video about a year and a half ago. It was like a 2-minute thing or something. It wasn't much, but gave you a quick overview of what the company does. It's sort of interesting.
Mr. Hefner, it's on your website, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I've seen it.
It may be on the website.
Yeah, that particular thing is on the website, so
Okay.
we can easily get it.
I mean, I haven't looked at my own website in a long time. I've got other people to deal with that.
But some of us have taken a tour of your buildings, your facilities, and when you are kind enough to have the time to do that, it's very interesting.
I'd be happy to give people a tour of what we do. It's an interesting process on making eyeglasses. There's a lot of steps to it. And we do a lot of robotic processes, which
I was very impressed.
is pretty interesting for most people.
That was quite a water recycling operation too.
Well, we have a separator that separates the debris from our cutting machines. So we basically don't dispose of any water down the drain from our manufacturing process.
And then there's the CFO,
Pardon?
then there's your real CFO, who runs the show.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Your CFO, I was thinking Fido.
Oh, my dog, yeah. Yeah, Stubby, he's not doing too well right now.
No, he's getting old.
He's 14 and he can't hear anymore, and I don't think he can see. And we may make it through Thanksgiving. We're not sure.
Oh, he does have beds at each facility.
But he does protect the refrigerator. I've not had that stolen yet.
Just the other day, Bill did take me on a tour of his facilities, and I was just amazed at everything, and the equipment is so modern, and the robotics. I was very impressed, and what a great idea to get that video out again to everyone.
I'll send it to you, and you guys can look at it and do whatever you want to do with it.
I was thinking if it was broadcast on Fox Business Channel, we would probably have to get permission to broadcast and rebroadcast it.
No, we paid for the rights.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Mr. McGrath, I'll let you coordinate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, there is something pertaining to CDCA. I know you don't usually get a report, but I think it's important.
Yes, please.
Had a meeting last night, and CDCA met with Aqua and Delcor. And a presentation showing costs. Essentially what came out of it also, they requested that the service agreement that we have with Delcor be amended to read Aqua, Pennsylvania. There was a vote, the 10 members present, 2 absent. There was 8 for and 2 against. I was one that was against. On the premises, we don't set policy. We present any changes to our members first, and once they had a chance to look at it, then we would vote on it. But overruled, so that change was made.
Sorry. What was overruled? What was overruled?
That I wanted to put it on hold, present it to the member municipalities first, have them review it, get a feedback, and then we would go from there. It's my premise, we don't set policy. We were set up on behalf of the members to provide a service. That was overruled by an 8-2 vote.
Okay. And where is CDCA in their budget process as far as when we'll get a readout of what the...
Just because I had 3 meetings right in a row, we approved our budget, the increase, just to make it, is 6.7%. It had been 8.3, and then we were able to work some numbers out of there, so it finally came in at 6.7. That's inclusive of an 8% increase from Delcor for treatment.
Okay.
So after we took that, then we were able to do something with some other numbers we have on there. We were able to reduce it to 6.7.
All right. Thank you. Any other new business? If not, open discussion. Anyone wish to address council? Mr. Lee, please.
Michael Lee, 123 West Sylvan Avenue, Morton, Pennsylvania. Before I get to my comments, Mr. President, I believe you didn't ask if there was anything from planning or zoning.
Yeah, I did. There was
Okay.
nothing yet.
My apologies. First, a week from tomorrow will be the Springfield School Board Board of Directors meeting, November 21st at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. Like I said earlier, and I'll be sure to remind somebody, God willing, at our agenda meeting in December about the inauguration on the December 5th for Mrs. Guy. I do want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And if you're traveling by plane, train, or automobile, I hope your journey's safe, especially by car. And please, for God's sakes, put down the cell phone. That email can wait. You can wait until return a text. And if it's some kind of emergency call, pull over and deal with it then. So that's all I have to say there. And so I don't have anything else tonight. So thank you for listening. Good night, and God bless all of you.
All right, thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to you and everyone else as well. Anyone else for open discussion? Mr. Bixby, please. You can speak from there.
I can speak from here, thank
Sure,
you.
yes.
What I'm coming here tonight about is that gas leak at Providence Road and North Morton Avenue again. That's the alarm, that's about the 8th or 9th alarm that the fire company has to go up there, and there hasn't been any action taken on it yet. We received a letter from PICO saying that they were going to fix that. It hasn't been done yet. We don't want to have a catastrophe here. Here we go again, you know? And you know, the firemen have better things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We made that point to them. Mr. Catania, what the plan that they have for the work that is pending, as I understand it,
That should have been done about 3 weeks ago.
right, but will that That's only on Morton Avenue, correct? It doesn't extend up to where these complaints are coming from
It's on Providence Road.
Yeah.
Is it Providence Road and North Morton Avenue?
Replacing the gas main on Providence Road.
Yeah.
And we were assured at the meeting that we had that the smell problem would be eliminated with the work that they're doing on Providence. Because if you remember, they'd come to us maybe a year and a half ago wanting to do all of Providence. But they said they couldn't do that, but that one section on Providence Road was being done strictly for the purpose of getting rid of the leak there.
But that is not as part of the work that they are gearing up to do?
Yes.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's a short portion on Providence Road and then Morton Avenue.
Are they doing all Morton Avenue or just a portion there?
No, all
Throughout
the way
the
down
LA?
to
Broad Street.
Broad, yeah.
No, that was the notice we got was from Broad
Right.
to Providence Road. And then late last week, they were out marking Morton Avenue.
Well, they have to
And
do
those
that.
guys didn't know that there were two different items. They didn't know about the leak at Providence Road, but they knew about the work that's supposed to be done in front of our houses.
Yeah, they do a drill test. They
Um,
try to find the leak by drilling in the ground. But it's getting worse. It's not getting better.
And I think they know where the leak is. The correct
yeah.
question
We have
is,
plastic, we have PVC piping, I guess it is, and steel pipes.
It's not PVC, that's
Well, it's not
cast iron.
PVC,
That
but
was put
well,
down
not all of
there
it's
in
cast iron. From the
1954.
church, from the church over, it's PVC. That's what these guys said. I don't know.
We do have a new community relations contact.
all right.
Vico's been pretty responsive with us when he asks questions, so maybe
Yeah, if you
Bob can get in
can
touch with them. or-
send an email to him, copy it to Mr.
Her name's
Tahara.
Michelle.
Okay, my mistake. Another Michelle, huh?
Yes.
All right, and copy Mr. Poole, Mrs. Preston, myself, and I don't know if we should copy the solicitor as well. Just to, I mean,
You can.
because I would like to ask them, what I want you to ask them is for a date certain of when the start of this will be. You know, so it's not just, they don't just keep pushing it out now, because we are running out of construction season here very rapidly.
They're gonna find a period of time where they're not gonna be able to shut off the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to start it October 18th.
Yeah, they didn't store it.
Obviously, if they've done it today,
Well,
they're
there's
gonna be
that,
screaming.
and the asphalt plants are gonna close, and they're not gonna be able to repave the street.
Yeah.
That'll be a mess if it snows.
Yeah. All right, so if you would send that to Mara High Importance and let them know, we need a clear response back within 24 hours, please.
I have another question.
Yeah, Mr. Bixby.
Can I still go down and get that wood out of the, I've been trying to get down there, but sometimes I can't make it. You know, the downwood in this, woods over here. You have no objections for me taking it?
Yeah, on wood, I don't think it's a problem.
Sure.
I'm not gonna cut no trees down, just cutting up what's on the ground.
Yeah, yeah. We need to get rid of it somehow, and I know that you have a fireplace.
I burn it, I'm keeping my house with it.
Well, they help us and help you too.
Yes. Okay, thank
There's
you
no
very
problem with
much.
you doing that.
I got one other question.
Yes.
If I could put the name in, who should get the,
Tax rebate?
yeah, tax rebate?
I don't think we've gotten
not-
that list from them yet, right?
What's that?
It's not due until December 1st. We did
December
remind the
1st.
chief that he
Correct, at
needs
the
to
last
do it.
meeting. He was reminded at the last meeting, and he said that he would have it available.
By when, December 1st?
December
December
1st is what the ordinance
Okay.
says, right?
Just checking up on it, that's all.
Thank you. Anyone else for open discussion? Seeing no one else, we have an announcement. The borough office will be closed Thursday, November 28th and Friday, November 29th for the Thanksgiving holiday. Recycling will be collected on Friday, November 29th instead of Thursday. And if there are no other announcements, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting adjourned, thank you.
You're watching MoTV, Morton's very own TV station.